Okay, so Ryan P. I'm. I think you probably know Ryan
Mm-hmm.
P. is the one who bought this session for me
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because my birthday is next week.
Happy birthday. How old would you be,
Thank
if
you.
you don't mind me asking?
I'll be 23.
Nice. Happy birthday. Hope it's a good one.
Thank you. Um, so I don't know. I didn't really play Overwatch 1 like at all, but Overwatch 2, like, I find it more fun. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
playing it and I've been watching your content and well, mostly yours and then like I don't know, like DPS players
Okay. Fair
or
enough.
stuff like that. And then he was like, "Roy, when's your birthday?" I said, "I think you know when it is." He was like, "Yeah, isn't it coming up?" So he bought me a coaching session.
Okay, fair enough. Sounds good. Well, why do you think you're liking Overwatch 2 better than Overwatch 1? What about it specifically?
Um, in Overwatch 1, well, first of all, the people I had to play with, because back in Overwatch 1, I was in high school,
Mm-hmm.
like when I was playing, so I was playing with my friend who like doesn't really play video games that much, and he was probably like silver,
Mm-hmm.
and I was around gold, and then eventually I got to like the bottom of plat when I started playing with my other friend from school who was a diamond pharaoh one trick.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, I think back then it was kind of a mindset thing where I felt like DPS did nothing, so I just tried to play Hog and Rhine, and then I would just feed because I was bad.
Yeah.
And then when I was playing with my Pharaoh friend, I was like, oh, well, oh, Pharmacy's broken, let's just do that. But then, Mercy's really boring, so I stopped playing
Fair enough.
the game.
So it's
Yeah.
always funny how people's enjoyment of the game, like so much of it involves like the environment that you were in.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
like I remember, the environment that I was in was goats meta essentially bullied me out of playing for a long time.
Yeah.
Like I kept coaching through it, but I stopped playing because it was just really boring to play. So yeah, okay, fair enough. And so you Overwatch 2, what got you back into it, or was it just, oh, Overwatch 2 is new, I'll try it again?
Uh, Partially that. Also at the like since high school, like since just being in college and stuff, I met more people that I like playing games with.
Right.
Um, and also, I don't know. I just like how Overwatch 2 plays more. I
Uh
like Sojourn.
huh.
She's broken as hell,
Uh
so
huh.
she's fun.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
Um, what else? Yeah, I mean, I think I even probably have more fun. I have more fun duo queuing and like three queuing
Yep.
now than I
Yep.
do basically doing anything else. But like, I have more fun solo queuing Overwatch 2 than I did playing Overwatch 1. And also low key, I think I enjoy Overwatch 2 more because uh I just understand the game more. And
Yep.
like I've played other games that like I know
Yeah.
more about what it takes to be like get better at a video game.
Sure.
Whereas like I've always wanted to be better at a video game, but I was just worse at that.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so you've grown as a person and as a player, and so now you're
Yeah.
achieving mastery. Okay, and also Sojourn. um. Okay, let's What do you hope to get out of the session? I'm looking through your form, and I guess I could just read the question and see if there's anything to add here.
Yeah.
Dig into some spots where I could have been micro positioned better to deal with tanks pushing me, flankers flanking me, and so on. How do I identify the strong position for my character on a map in the context of a fight from my POV, and so on. The question sadly cuts off, but it says, "How do I keep track of the?" Do you remember what
Oh
that
yeah.
was?
That's
Colloquially, kind of
probably
sucks. Sorry.
yeah, I'm still kind of dealing with that. Like I think I wrote these responses a few weeks ago, but that's still on my mind a lot is you know, looking at the enemies is
Mm-hmm.
good, especially like, oh, I see an Anna. I want to
Mm-hmm.
kill that Anna. But in between reloads or even just like in between peaks, just trying to keep track of where everybody
Mm,
is,
mm,
especially
mm.
the important people, like their Ramatra or I don't know, like their Rhine or someone who can like insta kill me, like where their
Right.
Widow is still like I don't do it every game. Like some games are better than others where I will be like, oh shit, they have a Widow.
Right.
Can I swear? I'm
Yeah, you're
sorry.
fine. You're
If
fine. Go ahead.
okay, oh shit, they have a Widow. But then I don't know. sometimes I play around a Widow or around a Ramatra where I think I'm playing like too safe, where
Yep.
I end a round with like few deaths, but then I don't know. I swap between wanting like just either feeding and like not really paying attention to where people are,
Right.
or like over paying attention and being like, I need to just dump everything I have onto their Anna or something like
Yeah.
that. Or I'm
Yeah.
like peeking an angle and I'm not looking at anybody else. I'm just trying to shoot the Anna in the head.
Yeah. Yeah. See, the problem with that though is like the problem that's it's like part of me is like, oh, that's good. You're stress testing. You're going between opposite extremes, but
No.
you're not really. You're kind of
Yeah.
like you're kind of like, oh, I'm just not even trying. I'm not even aware. Therefore, I'm feeding, or I'm hyper aware, and then I'm a coward, and so therefore I'm not doing anything either. What we'd like to do is we'd like to get you feeding with full awareness. Does that kind of make sense? You know, like
Yeah.
you're aware of this and you decide to do something aggressive, and then you go, oh well, that didn't work because right, not because oh I just literally didn't have my monitor was turned off. You know what I'm saying? Because like when it comes to like making good like what makes a great player in game is being able to make good decisions, and that takes knowledge. But for most people, knowledge isn't necessarily the problem. It's where they're putting attention. For example, I'm like probably like if I put time on DPS, I'd probably be like low diamond, high plat, which is terrible for the amount of knowledge that I have, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why that is because I don't have the habit of like putting attention to a lot of stuff, nor do I have like the ability to make those decisions very fast mid game. So for you, it might be you don't have the practice of making good positional decisions mid game under pressure, or it could also be you just don't have the habit, like you were saying, of knowing enough information. Because we'll go through fights here, and I'm going to ask you, where should you be here? What should you be here? And you'll be like, oh, well, it should have been there. I'm like, yeah, yeah. And we're like patting each other on the back. But then why didn't you do it in game? Did you just not know? Did you not think about it? Did you not have that information? Were you not paying attention? Were you under too much pressure? And that's like where we have to get the crux of like what's holding you back. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I agree with you. The attention of enemy positioning is like a crucial skill to work at. So if nothing else, I can say, yeah, you're an idiot. You're absolutely right. You should be getting better at that. So that's my coaching input for the day. Let's keep going through here. So training here. You have goals of short term, understand more about what I can and can expect from my teammates, the other DPS, my supports, tank. That's a strange answer. Understand more about what I can expect from your teammates DPS. What does that mean?
Yeah. And kind of pushing beyond that, I've been thinking about, you mentioned resources a lot, and just basically anybody talking about like competitive Overwatch. It's a
Yeah.
game of resources and
Yeah.
like the burden you put on your teammates and the burden you put on the enemies.
Yeah. Oh,
And
I like it.
like
Mm-hmm.
one thing I've been thinking about a lot is like, so not what to expect, like, oh, my Zenyatta is terrible, or oh, my Ryan is a feeder. Not like that. I meant like, what is their role?
Mm-hmm.
And am I expecting too much of my teammate? Like, am I expecting too much of my Anna if I'm just wide peeking a Hanzo? Do I expect the Anna to immediately know that I just got body shot and I need a bullet now so I don't get a second body shot and die?
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying. I think that's it's an interesting question, but it's not necessarily one that needs a very clear answer. For example, you're wide peeking a Hanzo, okay? What does that imply? A wide peak,
I'm too far out,
right?
or I'm trying to be very aggressive.
Right. Okay. So then your theoretical problem right there is you either need to win the 1v1 because you're going very aggressively, or you're feeding because you peaked too far out.
Mm-hmm.
So then the question there is, if you're in a position to where a Hanzo body shots you once and you don't have the capability to get back into cover, then either there's a problem with you mechanically where you were not able to secure the kill fast enough, or your positioning was bad. And Ana's job is to try and keep you up, and a support's job is to try and prioritize whoever's low, and if you get body shot by a Hanzo, you're critical, so you're probably going to get healing. However, if you're giving your Ana like 0.25 seconds to react to that before the Hanzo queues up another arrow and kills you, then I don't think that's probably a good play. So for you, it's
Yeah.
about increasing the odds that you either get kills or increasing the odds that you'll be able to survive an engagement and help your support out to the point to where it's like a 65-70% chance. You know what I'm saying? And you will win the majority. There's no way to guarantee anything in Overwatch, right? There's too many factors going on. Like, what's stopping the Hanzo from just headshotting you? You know what I'm saying? You can't heal that. Like, it's just it's a dice roll, right? But then it's all about increasing your odds of winning each team fight, and by increasing the odds of what you're doing being the right thing. That's the thing. There's some things that are objectively good. There's some things that are objectively bad. But most of the time, it's just about doing things that are 99% of the time going to be the right play, even if you don't get rewarded for it. You guys see what I'm saying? The question's odd, though. I don't feel like I fully explained it, I guess. I think the way you said where it was like about maximizing the pressure on the enemy, but minimizing the pressure that you put on your teammates is a good way of looking at it. Like, how much resource am I demanding, and how much resource am I demanding on the enemy team, and then finding the way to maximize that, right? I think the ratio is probably the best way of doing that. Like, if you were to like quantify how much pressure versus divided by how much pressure am I taking, you want to get that number as high as you possibly can. You know, and that's where like good cover usage is so important, right? Because good cover usage generally can still allow you to play very, very aggressively. But if you ignore cover, you might get marginal more aggression points, but be significantly punished by the enemy team. You know what I'm saying? Demand way more resources. So if you like wide peak, how much more do you get out of the wide peak versus how much safety do you lose by wide peaking? You know, and finding that balance. Okay, and then the next thing is long-term improve to the point where I feel a strong player both mechanically and mentally. That's fair. That's fair. I will say it's a little bit of a slippery slope because you could ask probably a lot of Overwatch League players, and they're probably like, yeah, I got a lot to work on. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of how it goes. You know, it's a blessing and a curse. You never really arrive for most people, but also that means the process, which is generally the fun part, never really ends. So I guess elaborate on that one for me a little bit.
You can't see it, but I'm nodding my head right now.
That's good.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I just enjoy being mechanically good in a game. Like, feeling good about, oh, I hit that shot, sheesh! Or just like having a very clean round of like, you know, their DPS can't touch me this round. Like, it might not even just be like feeding and just like pushing them in and then I win the 1v1 anyway. It's like I'm just putting out way more pressure than they are. It's just, you know, they have to deal with me. They're counter swapping and I'm continuing, blah blah blah. And then mentally it's more like, not like, oh, my mental is bad, like I tilt off the face of the earth. I think I'm okay about that, but like just generally learning more about what Overwatch has to offer in terms of like, you know, the mentally stimulating parts of Overwatch were like coordination and teamwork and like an understanding of what each role does, what my teammates are doing, what the enemies are doing. And just furthering that.
Let me ask you a question. When I asked you like what got you back into Overwatch and why do you think you're doing, one of the things that you said is you feel like you just developed as like a player, like understood how to get good or how to get better at things. Is that something that kind of ties in with that answer as well in terms of your mental progress? Okay, sure. I mean, a lot of what we've tried to do when you get better at Overwatch is try to develop like how you learn and how you improve and how to do it better. And you know, even like to this point now, like a lot of what we've talked about is not really unique to Overwatch, right? Maximizing pressure, minimizing pressure on your team, you know, knowing how to structure your training and so on. So I'm going to poke another hole in the balloon, all right? So you're like, I want to feel like a strong player mechanically. Let's go back a little bit. The problem with that is there's always going to be moments where that's the case, no matter how bad of a player you are, because you're going to get hot and then you're going to get cold, right? That's just normal. And then the lobby may or may not decide that the enemy team is going to be brain dead or not. Maybe they have a bad day, right? They're going to be cold and you're going to be hot and you're going to feel like number one. The best part about that, and this is what makes Overwatch great, is you don't need to be a good player for that feeling to happen. You could be a bronze 5, and play against bronze 5 players, and then just something clicks, and then you pop off, right?
Yeah.
But you're bronze 5. Now you are where right now? Plat? Gold?
Recently, so I think on the forum I listed like high gold, low plat,
Yep.
but this week I hit diamond.
Okay, so you're diamond, all right?
Diamond 5. Like literally
Oh,
just hit it.
look at you! Congratulations. My coaching is that good. So diamond 5,
No way.
and you're popping off, right? So as you get better, your lobbies are going to become mid diamond and high diamond and low masters, and the competition levels up with you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying with this, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's like getting farther in a bracket in like a bracket-based game.
right.
You
So
start going 2-2, you're fine, but then once you start going 3-2, 4-2, it gets harder to even push past
Correct.
that because
Correct.
the people you're fighting at that point are just way better.
Correct. And the funny thing is really it never really ends unless you get to like S tier best player in Overwatch League.
Yeah.
And then ironically, that could be a bad thing because there's nothing more frustrating than being the best player in the lobby every game and feeling like you're deadlifting and the matchmaker still, you're not deadlifting enough. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever played with like friends and you're the highest rated player in the lobby?
Yeah.
Okay. If you haven't yet, get ready because it's not fun.
No.
Sometimes
Especially
it can be
as a
fun.
DPS player.
Right. Sometimes it can be fun. Like when the stars align, you go like 43-2. But then the other times you go 43-2 and you lose the game. And you're like, this is so frustrating. Like, why are we so bad? Like what's going? But then that's the thing. And that's what's good about Overwatch, but it also means that chasing the superhero feeling like when you play an RPG, like you're the greatest hero in the history of the lobby, that's a very, very few and far between where that's gonna happen. And you're going to have to that's just the bad news I got for you, is that's just not going to be a very common thing because the game is going to continually try and push you up, like you said, and challenge you. Now, you can be an objectively good player, right? I mean, even now, the fact that you're in Diamond, you're objectively, I guess, a decent player, right? You're better than the majority of the player base, right? Like, you're top, 20%? 10%? Something like that? So you're a good player.
Like that.
Congrats. Right? Do you feel like a good player?
No.
Right.
No, I still feel like I really don't know a lot.
Right. So you're gonna have to learn to deal with that. Either you're gonna have some sort of form of psychosis where you get to like mid diamond, you convince yourself that you know everything and that your teammates are bad, or you're gonna embrace the fact that you're never gonna really know everything, but you're gonna enjoy the process. I think it's probably gonna be a little bit of either or. So just something to consider. Does that kind of make sense?
It does.
Okay.
And I've like in other games I've been like played competitive in, it is like that.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really matter what you're doing. There's always not just somebody, there are many people better than you.
Yep. And even when you get to the top, like I said, it gets lonely, you know. It's like me as a coach. There's just the greatest of all time. There's just nothing to learn anymore because I'm just the greatest.
Right.
You have no idea.
Right.
Sleep looks pretty good. Looking through other questions here. Moisture queuing you've been doing more solo queue recently, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
more
fair.
like these past few weeks, it's like mostly duo queue and 3Q, but I also just will pop on a solo queue game. Like during my lunch break or after work or something.
Sure. Okay. I will say one thing that can potentially be a problem with stacking. So there's two potential problems. One, actually three things. One, it can be if people don't take the game as seriously, then there could be a gap that increases. Like, for example, when we talk about boosted, a boosted Mercy main or a boosted Ryan main, it's about somebody queuing with them and deadlifting them to a rank that they don't belong. It's like wearing ankle weights for the other player, right? And that can get a little frustrating. The other thing as well is that, like, are you playing for fun or are you playing to improve? Right? And that could depend on the situation. And the last thing, which a lot of people don't talk about, which I actually learned from an IOStux video, which I thought was really good, which was about how when you are a gold player in a Masters lobby, Masters player in a gold lobby, you see the problem here? We talked about this a second ago, about how the feeling of, oh, I did everything right, or I did everything wrong, can be a little bit disruptive for the learning experience, right? So if there's a significant gap between you and the people that you're queuing with, you could get punished for doing the right thing, which might discourage you from doing the right thing and push you into a playstyle that's bad. And
Yeah.
then vice
And
versa.
that kind of also ties into where I was talking about the burden of my teammates. It's
Yep.
like, and I don't mean this, like, I don't mean this, it may come off as, like, I don't mean this like, oh, my teammates are terrible. So, like, I can't make aggressive plays because my tank is doing nothing and my
Right.
supports don't even look at me. It's not like that. Like, I just want to know, can I take this angle? Not even like a wide peek, just like, can I be here and be supported? Maybe a Masters level Mercy player will look at me, fly down a hallway to heal me or pocket me, and then
Right.
another one might,
Right.
try and save me after the fact, and then I
Right.
end up dying, and then they
Right.
hero res, and then we
Right.
all lose.
Right. Now, Overwatch is filled with convoluted, polluted situations like that, right? The
Yeah,
good news is it's filled with it, but it still happens a lot less than you think. A lot less than you think. Like, we'll go through your VOD here, and I promise you there's only going to be a handful of situations where it's like, well, if they did this, then this would be good, but they're not, so they're not going to, right? Most of the time, it's going to be about objectively bad or objectively good, and that will take some of the stress off of those kind of decisions. Because if you had to factor in how good is my teammate for whether this is a good play or a bad play, every single like fight, it'd be exhausting. It'd be exhausting, and you never be able to come away with something like you. All you do is you get good at reading career profiles. You know what I'm saying? But there's some stuff that's objectively good, regardless of whether your support is gold or masters. And
yeah,
that's the big thing. That's what we have to focus on, because the other stuff gets just so complicated. You know what I'm saying? It's so complicated.
yeah. And it
Okay,
could even be player to player. Like,
right.
maybe one in three gold players does the thing, but then one in two Masters
True,
players does
true.
the
Or,
thing.
or match to match. Maybe a little bit of confidence. Maybe they got distracted, right? Maybe they know it's good, but they got
Yeah,
distracted by something else that happened in the battlefield. Like, you can't rely on that, because, like you said, it's you're taking it too much like a team game, when most of the time it's just about like what the choices that you make, which 9 times out of 10 are going to get rewarded.
mm,
There will be times where doing the right thing gets punished, but not as often as just objectively doing the right thing. And that's also why I'm here, so I can sit here and tell you, I don't care what happened this fight. That was the right play 9 times out of 10. Keep doing that.
yeah.
Last question here. What do you feel is holding you back from improving? I think my micro positioning / movement is something that is usually getting me killed by DPS flanks or tanks pushing me from the front. Elaborate on that,
Mm,
please.
um,
Or change it if it's not applicable anymore.
yeah, that's kind of changed.
Okay.
And this might have been like right when Ramatra dropped. Like, I really was just, I don't know. Racha would just have Nemesis form. He would pop it, run at me, and I would like miss my slide jump away or something like that. Or if I was playing Soldier, I would be running away, but by the time I actually got like distance between me and the Ramatra, he had already punched me twice, and then,
Mm,
you
mm, 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 mm.
know. I'd say like in a room, let's say, just I'm holding an angle as
Sure.
Sojourn. I have this crazy movement ability. I don't really have a lot of sustain, but
Yep.
like holding that angle is really good. I get to shoot at their people, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when let's say a Reaper just like teleports up to my high ground,
Mm-hmm.
or a Genji just like is there, and this is an angle that I'm kind of holding alone, where
Yep.
like I'm trying to
Yep.
hold this, keep this angle because it's really strong.
Yep.
But maybe my team isn't there because they're doing something else, like they're on the low ground, holding with the tank or something like that.
Yep.
Um, that kind of thing. It's like obviously I want to get away from a Reaper next to me, because if he's next to me, I lose that 1v1 like
Mm-hmm.
9.5 times out of
Yep.
10. Um, but do I just leave completely the high ground? Like, do I just give it up for free? Um,
Let me ask you a
and
question.
then like,
Let me ask you a question. Let's stick with that one for a second.
so
When Reaper, why is Reaper going to high ground?
kill me,
Right. So then you leave. So then what does the Reaper do?
drop.
Okay. So then what do you do?
Uh, shoot him up there? I
Sure,
don't know.
sure. If he drops, go back to high ground.
Yeah.
Right?
And if he doesn't, then he's kind of just waiting to drop,
Right.
not doing
Right.
much.
And if right. Now obviously there's different it's a little bit more complicated than that, but
Yeah.
him engaging on you is something he has to do, otherwise his team dies. So he has to take out the trash. I got crap, man. Like I gotta clean this angle out. And the funny thing is when he TPs on you, the nice thing about Sojourn is even as you're disengaging, there's a chance that he just dies. You farm up your shots, you rail his head, maybe he just dies, right? So it's not even a free, safe thing. There's a much higher chance, honestly, of him dying than it is of you dying if you use your shift correctly. So it's a risk every time.
And I think something that maybe I've been not holding back, but something that goes with that is when stuff is going down, like,
Yep.
the Ramatra, he just got Nemesis form back, or the Reaper just TP'd to me. Knowing in an instant whether or not I need to shift away immediately or not. Like, there's a Junker Queen that's ulting at me. Do I need to dash away right now? And where do I go? Am I positioned for that?
Sure.
Like, because it's the difference between getting hit by like a mid to short range Reaper shot and then a full, like the 1 billion damage Reaper shot up close,
Right.
and then I die, or I just get hit by a mid range Reaper shot and I'm already out.
Right.
Or I don't get hit by the Junker Queen ult, but then I'm far away from my team. Like, where am I going? That's the kind of thing where, like, I just don't feel fast enough on disengaging or, like, making distance. Because a lot of the characters I play are, like, I've been learning some other stuff, but most of it is just Sojourn Soldier.
Yeah.
And, like, against most characters, especially those like flankers and tanks who will just push me on those places, I don't want to be next to them. Basically all of them
Right.
beat me up close, I beat them far away.
Right. We have a good understanding of range, but yeah, I think like the question that you're asking is just honestly impossible to answer. It just has to be case by case. Well, I'm sure we'll get a few in the replay code though. I mean, that's mostly it. The rest of the question is again Calendly screws me over because it says I misjudged my position relative to a wall and bump. And that's just like that's the end of the answer because Calendly cuts it off. But yeah, is there anything else question wise that you have before we get into the review? We talked about a lot of different stuff, so if there's anything we need to elaborate on, just let me know.
I guess I mean a question about which replay. I actually hit Diamond 5 like yesterday.
Yep.
And I won. I think we went like 5-1 or something, and then I went from Plat 2 to Diamond 5. And then this morning, I was like, well, all of my games, the one game we lost, we C9 twice, and then this morning, I played an Antarctic Peninsula game, and I couldn't tell if it was a first game of the day moment or a I've played on this map like four or 5 times moment, or if I just like I was definitely the reason we lost. Like that is for sure.
Okay. Well, it's up to you. It's up to you. Like as long as the game is, it's totally up to you. It doesn't matter. You can look at whatever. I don't think VOD choice is that important. As long as there's enough footage to look at.
Okay. You know what? Even though I feel like this is a really not great game, but I'd like to look at it because this is like bottom of the barrel in terms of like. Well, now I'm framing it like, I would do everything right if I wasn't playing like shit this game.
Yeah,
but like I really was like,
fair.
it was me this game.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna adjust my desk here.
Yeah.
So Antarctic Peninsula. Now, to be perfectly frank with you, this will be my first time coaching this map, so I am with you, and I've only played it a handful of times, so we're gonna learn along the way. What do you think of the map, by the way?
So I think 2 of them, I don't know the names of them, but there's the one that's all inside that's very vertical with like just like a pit.
Yeah.
I think it was the 3rd round we'd played. So this one, I kind of get it. The high ground is really short, So
Yeah.
like going under on the stairs near point feels really bad. So you're just kind of like squeezed into the choke like far left from like the loading screen that you have right now. I don't know. Like I feel like I think on this map we had a Torb.
Yep.
They had a Torb and a Reinhardt and a Soldier. And the
Okay.
Soldier was pocketed. And like that corridor just felt terrible to be in, but like I could not tell you the off angle I could have taken.
Okay.
I
We'll
could have
figure
gone
it out.
far point, but like
Yeah. Yeah. We'll
that
figure it out.
left choke just feels terrible.
Okay. Okay.
I can't see anything. Like even if there are enemies there, I don't actually know who I'm shooting, and like I want to rail to actually like pressure.
So I'd ask you what Sojourn's good at, but I think you already have a pretty good impression or pretty good idea of what the hero does, so we can just get right into it. Just holler if you want me to pause.
Sure. So there's no cover here.
Mm-hmm. This is the nice thing, at least. Where if they want to capture point, they do have to step off that choke so that the angles kind of open up. So I think this is fine. And you're not horrible just shooting down the corridor, you know? Especially with your E.
Yeah. And I'm just farming rail.
Yeah. You just missed your shot there. I think it was fine. Okay, walk forward, walk forward, walk forward, walk forward. Shoot, 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 shoot. Probably not worth E-ing a Torbjorn turret. Not the best use of the ability. Just burn the turret down ASAP. Definitely not worth railing that. So the damage is just too low now. Even if you were to hit the headshot on the Rhine with the armor reduction, it would do like nothing. Do like 130 damage, something like that. It's so much more impactful. We talk about maximizing your pressure, demanding the most amount of resources. The resources that you demand for what you're doing now is the equivalent of like a mercy beam for like a second and a half, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you beam or smack a squishy, yes, it's slightly harder to hit. Yes, it's close to the amount of healing, right? However, the pressure, it's not just about the resources you demand, it's about the threat of the kill and how they'll respond. Reinhardt doesn't even he doesn't even know that you hit him, probably, especially because he's like plat, right? He probably is like, well, okay, you know, whatever, right? If you shoot a brig like this, Soldier, you know exactly how the response is going to be and how that's going to help your team.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, would you? I think I end up walking up to the left. Would you rather I walk up and kind of chill behind my Ramatra and then look for a squishy?
I would prefer you to do
rail,
something
like,
even differently. Watch this. Let's say you have not wasted your E, right? You wasted your E.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say you have 100 on your rail. Where do you go? You have a kitchen sink to throw at the enemy team, as well as your shift. Where do you go?
Maybe far right.
Okay.
Like go under and then peek across point.
You see?
Yeah.
It's
I think I was
free low. Free low. And the thing is this aggressive? Yes. But what?
But I have my shift.
You have
I have
your
all
shift.
my resources.
You have your shift.
And a rail.
And do you
So
think
like, as soon as I'm there,
right,
I'm doing something.
right, and you see how the risk it feels worth it given the reward. Like this is massive. This E, this rail on backline, and then the shift out, they're cooked. And you could even do it, think about like what would be the best way of doing this. Would you want to swing this far? No. Probably here, you know, where you still have some cover, right? And then a safe shift back to your team. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to do that, or start to do that, but you didn't have your rail.
Goodness.
You didn't have your E, and you did it too slow. Strike one, strike two, strike three. And now, we're talking about risk versus reward. You're killing me. You know?
Yeah.
You're cooked. It's over. You should have died there. And even though you don't die, this fight's over. Okay. Now, the nice thing is we've not had to consider whether your platinum supports will heal you or not, have we? It's been pretty straightforward. Objectively bad, objectively good. The play that I described to you will work in any rank, bronze to GM. You seem a little hesitant. So like,
Yeah.
little bit of a detail here, but like right here, for example. Okay, shoot the torp, farm up your charge. Oh, you got shot. All right, I'm gonna duck behind the cover. But then you get orbed. So I'm like, surely you're gonna go peek this out again, right? And like try and farm up your charge, maybe hit a. Nope, we're backing. We're backing. Why? Do you know why? This isn't a Widowmaker, right? And you're basically full now.
Yeah. I think maybe I didn't realize I got orbed, but also I don't know. I feel like whenever I peak spam at long range, like especially like just Torb Cheetos,
Yeah.
I end up getting hit for 140 in the head, and I did have 150 something health, but
Fair.
like
Fair.
I think I'm playing too much around the worst case scenario,
Yeah.
which granted like that may be a common scenario in some
Yeah.
cases, but like I was playing around getting Cheeto headshotted and then just losing the fight,
Yeah.
or just like dying off the rip and then losing
yeah.
the fight.
See, I even saw that in the first fight. You seem really gun shy, very hesitantly moving around. I don't know. Let's just keep watching. Let's not try and draw any crazy conclusions. Let's just see what actually happens. Okay. Shot. Now we peek again. Like again here. Peek. Charge that shot. No. Use the corner, but charge the shot. There you go. Now don't use it on the Rhine. Nice. There it is, right? Look at that. Heal station. Mercy pocket. Behind a wall, doing no damage. You see that? That is a massive, massive help to your team. Nice shot. Probably okay to E that. Nice. Again. Do you see this? He has to swing wide. This is good. Uh-oh. Nice. A little bit of a weird rail there. Uh-oh. Good. Oh, that's unfortunate. That was okay. That was okay. That was reasonable. The shift was a little strange, but that was reasonable. Nice. Nice.
Not nice.
Not so nice. Because the shift is probably even fine, right? Because you need to get an angle to shoot. But what's the problem with the shift? Obviously you got hit by a fire strike. Unlucky. But do you see your positioning? Could you have shifted in a safer location where you still could have been able to shoot somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you free camming right now? Could you look to the right? Is there anywhere to go over there? Well, I guess the brig is. Oh wait, there's a high ground there. I didn't even know that.
Even if you don't, you can cut your shift, not even do your jump, and just end here, right? Or go in this angle, which is probably a little bit safer, right? Just about where you're ending your shifts aren't great. Because like even if Reinhardt doesn't fire strike this, he could easily pin this and you're dead. Even if he doesn't hit the pin, he's going to pin and get on top of you. One swing, you're done, right? So obviously getting hit by the fire strike, unlucky, right? But also kind of silly, right? So let's, whatever. Let's not, I don't want to overanalyze just yet. We have plenty of gameplay to look at yet. But I am personally curious about your hesitancy. I'm curious about whether we're going to continue to rail the right targets. I'm curious about when we're using our shift. Are we using it just to kind of jump in the air or go too far aggressively? I want to start right there. Let's keep watching. And then at the end of this round, once I have a little bit better of an idea, once we both have a little bit better idea of what we're actually seeing, I would like to actually pick your brain as to why some of these arrows are hopping up.
Yeah.
See if there's any common patterns that we can spot. Right, use good. Good use of cover. Now, right now, it's all on the rail, right? You have to find that frame or find an off angle. So here's a question for you. Is there a safe off angle on the left or right for which you to bypass Reinhardt shield?
Left would be fine, but it would probably take a while to get there.
Yeah, nope. Not that. What about here?
That'd probably be good.
Maybe.
But I can't really peek around it.
Right,
I'm just
right.
kind of waiting for someone to drop main. Or
Tricky.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's okay that roll out here, but maybe if you get an opportunity to kind of drop here or drop here, at the very least, we would like to see the rail used from this position onto one of these targets.
Yeah.
Right? So let's
I also kind of didn't know the brig was over there.
I didn't either. This is good. Not great, but at least he's half HP and his armor's down and discorded, so maybe it's not the end of the world. Right? Goodie. Do you see how like a lot of attention was put on the Rhine and yet somehow we lost the fight?
Yeah.
Let's find out why.
That feels much better.
You see it? Do you see what they've done?
The other soldier has a great off angle even onto our high ground.
Yeah.
This high ground isn't actually that high.
Yeah.
So the people behind our Rhines just punching at each other. Like our Moira is behind our Rhine and their Mercy Brig are behind their Rhine. But then their soldiers just free firing onto our Rhine and then our soldier. Oh yeah.
You see it? Something to consider. Something to consider. I don't necessarily hate the rollout on main, but we definitely can consider controlling this space here. You're not as self-sufficient as a soldier, but you can ruin his day if you get an off angle, if you get a rail on him. Maybe roll out here. Oh, they're on here. I'm going to drop and control this area here. Maybe I'll try and swing right here. Maybe I'm going to go for the RKO play, where I'm going to actually shift on top of him, drop E, rail him. High risk, high reward, right? But maybe it's worth. I don't know. Something to consider.
Yeah. At minimum, it makes the fight on main better.
Right.
Or at least less bad.
Right,
for my team,
right.
Even if I lose. For a time, at least.
So we're raising more questions than we're giving answers right now, but we'll see what we can do with that. Okay, this is good. Don't just shoot Ryan. Don't just shoot Ryan. Let's walk in the soldier. Okay, let's walk. Let's walk. Let's walk. Yeah. That was lazy. So check this. So your Ryan actually goes to clear out the soldier himself. They follow. Do you see how you counter rotate? You go right. This is good. But this is not good. Do you see the number? Do you see the shield? Now, if she doesn't shield this, she's dead. But probably worth just to wait. Probably worth just to wait. You see what I'm saying? Because now we need to keep rotating. We need to keep rotating. This is good.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think I turned to look at him for a while.
Too late.
Too late.
Too late. Nice. Nice. Okay. So what are you seeing so far?
So the soldier is just holding right for free. Not like for free. I am shooting at him some, but when he actually just ends a fight or like finds the space to be there, he's kind of farming us.
Yeah.
Me specifically, but also just like he gets to shoot at the Rhine from the side for free.
Yeah.
Gets to shoot at our Moira. He gets to shoot at our soldier.
So how do you deal with that?
I can either find an angle where he's looking at and shoot back at him.
Yep.
Or I can approach him either by dropping like kind of on the point to the right where you said earlier, or just like rolling out of the right door and shooting him from there.
You're not as self-sufficient as him, but the nice thing is even if we go back to where you died here, okay? So you died here, unfortunate. When you have rail, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really hard for him. It's really hard for him. So all this is just simply is putting your attention here. Even if you go back to first fight, we talked about potentially dive bombing him. Yeah, that can work, right? But even if you don't dive bomb him, shoot his team, shoot Ryan, shoot him, and then all of a sudden you have Rail. He can't play. Right? You can't. You're essentially a Widowmaker at that point. In fact, you're better than a Widowmaker because it's easier for you to move. You don't have to scope in, right?
Yeah. I don't have to ADS.
And you don't even need to hit the headshot. You hit the body shot. We saw what happened on first point when you hit the body shot at him, right? Immediately behind cover, heal station, mercy pocket, downtime, and then you throw your E on top of that position. Oh man, now he's really cooked, right? So we're talking about this as like it was a Soldier 1v1, Soldier versus Sojourn 1v1. But the point here is that if you consider the angles a little bit more, I think regardless of what you're dealing with, it's going to be easier. What if this was like a Tracer flanking? You've got Rail. You see what, you know?
Yeah.
Even a body shot, there's recall. She has to play so. Widowmaker, same thing. You got Rail, she's cooked. Hanzo, you got Rail, she's cooked. Or he's cooked, excuse me. I don't know. Just something to consider. A little bit of a priority on controlling that space and whether you want to use it in a dive bomb fashion or if you want to play it more cautiously, more intelligently, and just play slow, play careful, and just threaten them with Rail, that's fine. But shooting Ryan Shield is only going to get you so far. If it's the only thing you can shoot, okay. If you can't take an off angle without dying or feeding, okay. But I think we've seen opportunities where that wasn't the case. And that doesn't even necessarily need to be you on the flank. Do you see? It doesn't have to be. It could just be you looking at the flank. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially because I can swap between, like, I think Soldier at that range from like main to the right side is probably a little better until I have Rail.
Right.
So I can
Exactly.
swap between looking main and then I have Rail. Now I can win this 1v1 or at least, you know, in terms of not killing him, but like at least look over there, shoot him. He has 130 health. He either has to sit or like scary peek. Or pop his health station. And I can probably maybe get a Rail before he can do that again.
100%. 100%. This is fine. Now, here's a question for you. Do you have to be here now? So this position isn't bad. You get a good, pretty decent angle here. You're this is funny. But let me ask you a question. Why are you not here?
I don't know. I mean,
decent cover,
maybe I just...
right? Decent cover. Good vision, right? Good E.
Yeah.
Good Rail. Can your support see you?
Yeah.
Yeah. If
you can,
if
even
you get
from
pressured,
you know, that left high ground that I'm trying to like control, but
if you
maybe
get pressured,
that's not
can you shift
my high
out?
ground to control. Yeah, shift either back to the Zen or through the door to the back right.
I don't know, something to consider. Because you're nice shot, but could you just not do the same thing from here and even have more access to things behind Ryan Shield? I mean, look at this. This is even easier.
Yeah. And
you also denied their soldier from taking this position, which is how you've lost the previous couple of fights.
True.
Good. Think about all the time that she's wasted. There's your Reaper example, right? There's your Reaper example. Has to go out of her way to clear you out. Doesn't actually succeed in doing so. And now might die. Uh-oh. All it took is the enemy soldier clearing you out. I guess that's what we need. That was nice of that soldier. Nice.
Ouch.
Good. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Imagine if you were just here to start with, though. You know. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Unlucky. A little bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
Any questions so far?
Do you think there's an advantage, like even if, let's say the soldier goes to the right side high ground at the start of the game, and like for the second engage too, do you think I should just roll out all the way out there and try and fight him there so that we're both there?
Like here? Or like actually roll out, roll out? Yeah, you can. If he's already there to begin with and you're not confident and you're not like low or you don't have cooldowns, then probably just play it safe. It doesn't matter. Like here, let me put it this way. You could shift on the soldier and kill him. High risk, high reward. You could
Sure.
simply hold this angle here, play passively until you get your rail, and then look to clear him out. Low risk, low reward. It's up to you. Up to you. We'll put it that way. Assuming you don't need shift for anything else, I don't really think it matters. Depends on how fresh you're feeling that day, you know. But certainly then when you have the space to at least start and control on this space and then use your shift to get out if you need to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't really see a clear right or wrong. It's up to you. Now I will say, as Sojourn, going on long flanks like this, maybe not as rewarding. Like even this, for example, right here, this doesn't feel very good to me. Why?
I mean, I probably just can't kill someone from here.
Why?
I mean, the pressure that, well, I'm on a low ground. I'm swinging kind of wide, so I can't stay here for
Right,
very
no
long.
cover. Yep.
And
Where are your supports?
I don't know. The Zen is probably main. And then
You see?
Anna, yeah, there too.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot.
Just go
Where's
here.
my soldier?
Your soldier is...
Is he dead?
No, he's here.
Oh, he's far right. Okay.
So like just here, you know, here, shoot them through here, shoot them through main, and then you can kill the Torb if they take a flank. Like if everything is in front of you and they're not taking any angles of flanks, okay, you know, this seems silly. Yeah. Like you could blame that on, oh, I shifted into the rock, but also like it's no cover, too far, no support LOS. So like I guess for me it's kind of interesting because what we're seeing for you is at least so far, we've seen some aversion to taking angles and flanks, and then you take probably the most greedy, sloppy angle flank that you possibly could have taken. You see it?
I do.
Yeah. That's rough. Because then as the fight evolves, all of a sudden this position just feels so good, you know? Okay. Let's keep going.
I'd have to adjust my approach.
We're gonna win it out, I think. We are.
They res the Rhine.
We are. This is fine. Don't stay here though. Get the top. Or that works too. Okay. Let's keep watching. Do you have any questions so
This
far?
round, I guess like working on hesitation. Like obviously the greed is really easy to spot because it's like, why am I in the middle of a hallway looking at a mercy pocketed soldier with no LOS to my healers? Those are pretty easy because there's a lot of stuff that stacks up to make that a terrible angle. But like when I'm talking about making a play of like not being hesitant, what what do I do about that? I don't know where to go.
Stress test it. Stress test it. What are the non-negotiables? Cover, right?
Cover.
Preferably support LOS, right?
Yeah. Or
Okay.
a health pack.
And
Those are good.
and I guess the last thing would be just like considering, is this flank way too close versus a Reaper comp? Is this flank way too far versus a Widowmaker comp? Right? Just like just get like a gut feeling about it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Non-negotiables, then go test. Cover, support, or LOS, or health pack, like you said. And then does this flank, am I just trolling the lobby versus the comp they're playing? You know, like am I in their back line versus a dive comp, you know? Or am I like frontlining versus a Reaper comp? You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't have an answer for you, especially not in this map. But you at least, if you can check off the boxes there, then you're good to go. Because that's the problem. Like if we go back even to like the first point, right?
Ready for battle.
And we talk about like the flank that we wanted you to take. Remember this? You had support LOS, you had some form of cover, and versus their comp it wasn't a troll. So try it, right? And then we go to the second point with the high ground. We don't need to look at it again, but you know what I'm talking about, right? It made sense. Your supports could see you. It made sense versus their composition, and there was cover there. So try it. The one that you tried that didn't work, there was no cover. There was no support LOS. And I mean, versus the comp, I think it was okay, but you just didn't have those two boxes checked, so it just didn't work. It's really that simple. I think if you could check those boxes, then you're putting yourself in a situation where you can actually test something out and see if it works. But it's going to require you to be, as we talked about at the start of the VOD, it's going to require you to be aware. Not just aware of their DPS positioning, which we talked about earlier, but I'm actually aware of, is there cover here? Can my support see me, or can I get healing? And then that's it. So don't question whether my Gold Mercy is going to pocket me. Ask yourself, can my Gold Mercy pocket me if you could, right? And if the answer is yes, then go try it out. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then as it's rolling out, like this map, I don't understand this map at all.
I don't
even know
either.
if I should be playing Sojourn on this map. Like, I like the verticality of Sojourn on this map in theory, but like, boy.
Okay, well, this is how I solve maps, okay? So people want to know how my genius applies and how I'm able to tell them how to play compositions that I've never seen before, right? How do you coach Ramatra so fast? You've never, like, I have like 2 hours in Ramatra. He's brand new, right? How do I do that? You tell me.
Either through like analogy of like, yeah, Ramatra's he spams like maybe
Yeah.
kind of like a Sigma,
Yeah.
but then he ended
Yeah.
up just being like a Rhine where he's just running on people.
Right. It's, hey, that looks familiar. You know what I'm saying? Now let me ask you a question. We've already established the baseline of what we're looking for. Support, LOS, cover, and maybe considering enemy comp, right? So you tell me, what should you be stress testing right now as Sojourn?
Maybe swinging far left. Like,
Maybe, yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking. Why not? Try it. Right? There's
I
okay
also
cover.
think
Go ahead.
it's kind of brain dead, but like, whenever I play against Rhine, like in a Rhine duels aren't very common since like Overwatch 2 has started, and like, I can't shoot stuff behind a Rhine shield. So I can either shoot the Rhine shield, which is okay, good sometimes, but bad other times. Or like getting an off angle on a Rhine shield means you have to be like pretty far off. Like it's not just like, oh, looking to the other side of a smaller shield. It is quite big. I need to find where to peek even wider, because like, it's not like the Rhine can jump to me like a Winston or anything. It's like,
Oh, you can't peek through this.
yeah, that window is so sad. Yeah, like, and there's a wall all the way across the right high ground anyway. Like, look at the wall. I don't know where to shoot them from. Like,
Okay, so then
so I'm trying to find that window up there.
You know,
Mm.
it's not optimal, but you could shoot Reaper from here, right?
True.
You could get an easy angle on anybody else that takes high ground, or over here, or if anybody's behind Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this checks the boxes. So instead of me telling you that this is a good position, I feel like this is a good position. Go answer that question for me. You know? I mean, even this position here isn't that bad, right? Because if you think about it, do you have a little bit of an angle, right? Do I have good sightlines? Do I have cover? Do I have support LOS? Yeah. Maybe it's okay. You know?
Yeah.
The rail sucks, but maybe the position's okay. Why does the rail suck? What charge were you at?
Oh, like 50?
Yeah, 68. Big no-no. He's full. No way. So your supports couldn't see you. For two, you needed to drop sooner. Supports couldn't see you. Now, if I'm playing support, I can see you because I'm a legend, right? I've always got my awareness on point, you know. But you need to just be like, I'm not getting healing, so either I'm going to adjust my positioning or I'm going to duck behind cover and break my X button until they heal me, right? Instead, you just were like, oh, well, they should heal me. Oh, okay, never mind, right? So yeah, your support scuffed it up, but I think you could also just smash X more.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned about the rail.
Does smashing X show up in replays? I actually don't know.
Don't think so.
I know the pings do.
But yeah, no, X doesn't.
Yeah. My X key is pretty broken.
Okay.
But maybe probably not there. I don't know. It's hard to say. I love hitting X though.
Huh. It's the
Fuck you,
DPS
but-
player's specialty. R/Overwatch hates you.
Well, get fucked. Not really, cause like I'm not just like I need healing like
Yeah.
someone like that. But you know,
I got
when
you.
I'm low, I hit it. Simple as that.
Okay. Okay. My body's screaming for you to move left now. You know? You've cleared this out. Double back. You see this?
Yeah. So
Or clear after you know the Ryan's on floor, clear out top right with your Ryan, then take a power position like this, you know? Let's see what you do.
Yeah.
You were about to say something though.
I was gonna say like with Orion, like am I basically never supposed to play with Orion? Like I
Well-
guess it's kind of like an old, just like shield bot
Yeah. I will say
perception
this.
of like
I will say this. Your Ryan is doing you a favor. Do you see what he's doing to the enemy soldier?
swinging on him, running away.
Right, he's clearing them out, right? And because their Ryan isn't there to match, the fight hasn't really started yet, right? So if you'd follow your Ryan here, which you did, you can now have any position that you want. He's like a dump truck, you know, he's like a snowplow is really what he is. It
Yeah.
clears out the area for it. And then as long as the snowplow doesn't run into a snowplow, then we're good to go. So this is fine. Just stop shooting the Reinhardt once you get the charge. Like even now, even before you're fully charged, just shoot the squishy.
Shoot this.
Right? This angle is fine, but you forgot about the squishy. And what else was the problem?
They were visoring
Right? And where were you?
in the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere. Right? Not that deep.
Yeah.
Not that deep. I really do think this position was fine. I just think you trolled the lobby. I
Yep.
can see the confusion here, and like honestly, I'm not exactly feeling super smooth with this one either. I don't know this map that well. But we don't have to know the map well to have a checklist of things of cover, support LOS, and so on to be able to make decisions. Like right now, you know where you should be. Right?
Left.
Right. Or
Back in the window.
back in the window.
Honestly.
Right. And then
Yeah.
going back to here. It's not great. You know, there's a lot of cover here in this map. I feel like, yeah, there's a lot of cover in this map, you know. I'm not going to lie to you. But
Yeah.
gross. You know? Frustrating. Okay. So, what are you seeing?
I think in general, like especially the first two rounds, I am shooting the Rhine a little too much, and then using my rails not all on squishies. Like railing a tank is basically useless unless they're like
Mm-hmm.
die purple, or no shield or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to use rail, especially even more, not just as like, oh, there's a squishy, I'm on like a kind of off angle, but
Yeah.
contest their off angles.
Yep.
Like that
Yep.
soldier got to just the first round. That soldier just got to farm the right side for the first two engages, and then
Yep.
he kind of won the fight by himself. Like our Rhine was matching their Rhine, and I wasn't doing a whole lot because I was basically just shooting into a Rhine shield. But by the time I did get charged, I did not use it on the soldier,
Mhm,
and that's the kind of push out. Like that kind of pushing out is available to me when I have rail, especially because like taking that 1v1, if I do end up like actually just flying over there and running at him, taking that 1v1 is hard with no
Yes.
rail, but
Yes.
even or better with a rail.
Right. 100%. 100%. And then what about your positioning?
Some places, like obviously there was that just absolutely greedy, terrible swing on the left
Yep.
on the first round, but I guess like I'm either shooting down main or I'm a little off main, but I can even play like within the spacing of like the range of my shift,
Yep.
or the range of my shift getting back to my team, or just like into some deep form of cover like the back right door
Yep.
on the first map.
Yep.
Because like those are the angles that I can take, and
Yep.
especially when There's a Rhine shield down main. Like, I need to. If I'm not taking those, I'm getting one charge a shot, and I'm shooting a Rhine shield or a Rhine
What are the
instead of
non-negotiables?
cover,
Yep.
support LOS, and can I see them? Maybe
Yeah.
I don't
Sure.
remember.
Sure. I mean
What's the third one?
that's mostly it. Like those are the big two, and then test. If you could check those boxes, now we test. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you can't check those boxes, then you're not testing. But if you can check those boxes, you can objectively think, okay, that was fine, but I got too close to a Reaper, or the Widowmaker could snipe me, or I didn't have my rail, it was too aggressive of an angle, and so on. But I think these are the skills that we need to build. More awareness of our rail, how to use it, when to use it, what to use it on. More awareness of our positioning, as long as we can check those boxes. And you practice this one at a time. Put a lot of attention, several days, on your positioning and how you're using your rail. What charge is it at? Am I using it on shields? Is there something else to be using it on? And then put another several days of attention onto your positioning with the checkboxes. And you are a very intelligent individual, but I think you need to be careful about how, like, even some of your questions were like so like complicated in detail. But obviously, as we saw in the VOD, I don't think your problems are super, super complex, right?
Yeah.
We need to just make sure that we're not missing the forest or the trees. And that's a very common problem with a lot of people. I work with a lot of really smart people that are in gold plat because of stuff like that. Coaches, stuff like that. You just have to get the basics done. Because the problem is then you miss the priorities, and then you start chasing squirrels, and you just died because you just were standing in the open in front of visor. You know what I'm saying? You just died because you swung too wide and shifted into a rock. You just died because you stood in front of a Reinhardt and got shattered, right? That was really it. That's three of the big fights right there. And those are the low, or you died because you shifted in front of a Reinhardt and got fire striked, right?
Yeah.
Or you died because you stood in an angle and your sports couldn't heal you, and then you died to just random spam like 15 seconds later, right? That's the low hanging fruit. The fights where you feel like you played relatively well, you positioned well, just didn't work out, don't worry about that. Worry about the fights where the really stupid stuff happens. And that's why we worry about these two things, because those are things that consistently pop up and consistently can work on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay.
No, I do not.
If you do have any questions, my DMs are open anytime. You can shoot me a question whenever. And then obviously I recommend you use the replay code rule, which is shoot me a replay code at any time, this next week, next month, whenever, with a few timestamps, 3-4 timestamps. Be like, what should I have done here? How do I position here? Was this good? Was this bad? I didn't really know how to play versus this matchup. And I'll give you some extra feedback. Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. Good luck. I will get this